Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ricky. Today we are going to do a get ready with me while we talk about the book Too Soon for Adiós by Annette Chavez Macias. I read this book a couple weeks ago, so bear with me. Actually, it was probably like a month ago, so it's not going to be fresh in my mind, but I did really enjoy this book. So let's talk about it. The beginning of the book starts off with Gabby. She is our main character, and her mother has sadly passed away. So this book does have to do, like, before you get into it, just make sure that you do know that this book is about grief, about losing a parent from cancer, and also there is essay in it, just a very little, but essay is at the beginning of the book. So we open up to her mother's funeral. Okay, so while she's there, she had a so her stepfather did pass away when she was a teenager, I believe, or she was young when she lost her stepfather. Gabby never knew her biological dad, and she never really cared to, because her stepfather was very much her father to her, you know? My food is here. I already have this on my hand, so we're gonna just finish this part. Okay, so at the end of the funeral, a man comes up to Gabby and he says that he is her biological father. So really, she wants nothing to do with that. She does not believe him, and she's just kind of, shocked. Actually, fun fact, I have a story that's kind of like this. Like, my father, so my dad and my mom, and I was there too. I was one though. We went to a funeral for someone on my dad's side of the family, and my mom was sitting there, and someone, I don't know who she was. She was just some nosy woman that just wanted to cause some, start some mess up. I put too much of this. I was supposed to look a little sun-kissed, but yeah, try to blend that out. Anyway, she sat down next to my mom and she said, "Don't you think that your husband looks a lot like my Theo so-and-so?" And my mom looked and she was like, she told my dad, "I think that's your dad." And yeah, that lady was just being messy, because it was my grandpa, and my dad was 31 years old when he met him. That's a story for a different time, but yeah. Anyway, so I connected a little bit on that part of things. I also connected with this character due to her losing a parent to cancer. I lost my dad to cancer, for those of you that don't know. Yeah, the grief in this, it was something that I could connect to, because she does go into detail about, like, she talks about how her mother was sick. So I'm gonna get my food. I'll be right back. We've got Taco Cabana. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna continue on with this. So her mother's best friends are, against the whole thing. They're like, "How dare he come here?" And it is her, she chose not to believe it, because she's like, okay, this man I've never met is here telling me that I'm his daughter. It was her dad, and he came to her with a proposal. His mom passed away in New Mexico, and so he is there trying to, he's gonna, like, fix up her house so that way he can sell it. So he's wondering if Gabby will be the one to be there, get everything, everything situated with the house, and then also kind of at the same time get to know him, because he really wants to be a part of her life. I believe she's like late 20s now, and so she's not understanding, why now, So Gabby, initially she's like, well, no, I'm not doing this. But when she goes back to her job after being off, for taking care of her mother and the whole funeral and everything, she goes back to work, and her boss, there's issues with her boss, and she that this is where the essay comes in. So I won't go into detail about it, but it's not a good situation. So she ends up taking her father's offer to go to New Mexico in this adorable little town called Sonrisa. I believe that's what it's called. I could be wrong. It is, you guys, every time I picked up this book, I picked it up and I needed food. The cuisine in this book, good Lord, my eyes are tearing up. She made the beans sound like the best beans she said that they were creamy. So of course, when I read this book, I had to go to my favorite Mexican restaurant. I picked up 2 orders, I ate them both. Because it's a place that has like super creamy refried beans. And so anyway, make sure that you have some snacks nearby when you are reading this book, because she goes into detail and you can practically like smell it. You can taste this food. It is, I know that Annette Macias makes some mean Mexican food, because the way that she was describing this, no, I don't cook. I'm a bad Mexican. I don't cook at all. My dad was the one when I was younger. My dad cooked everything. Like, my dad was a very good cook. Later on, my mom learned, and she kind of taught herself. And my mom is a great cook. She makes the best rice. She makes, both of my parents just top notch. Me, on the other hand, I mean, I've made tofu before. I'm not, and it's sad, and I do need to learn. I did make rice the other day. I did make rice with my mom's help, but I do need to learn, because I want my kids to be like, oh, my mom, makes the best rice. My mom makes the best tacos. And right now, I'm not going to be that mom, because I can't cook anything, and it's just very sad. Anyway, I'm going to eat, and then we'll be back. All right, I finished eating, so let's continue. I don't think I said this, but also, like, the whole thing of like the food and all of that, Gabby is actually a sous chef, and when she gets to New Mexico, she finds out that her dad actually is a chef as well, and like, his food is delicious. I already went into detail about that, so I'm not going to do it again, but it's almost like she doesn't want to admit how good it is, because she's still like not too sure about this man. There is also a little love story. It's not the main focus of the book. The main focus of the book is Gabby dealing with grief and figuring out who she is in this world, Also, it is very, like, it's about grief, but it's not like a super depressing book. Like, I cried, but I lost my dad to cancer. So I think that if that weren't the case, then I wouldn't have been as emotional, because it wasn't like a super sad book. It was pretty light, but still the entire thing is about grief. Anyway, so the love interest is actually someone that she cannot stand. At the beginning, when they first meet, no, they're not friends, they're not anything, but then things develop into something much bigger. I'm not gonna talk about anything else, because I don't want to give too much away, but I do recommend this book. Now, I did read another one of her books, Big Chicas Don't Cry. I really liked that one as well, but I did enjoy Too Soon for Adiós a little bit more, just because I think it was the food. I mean, what I've noticed reading both of those, the food is a big part of that, but it's also a big part of the Mexican culture. And so, but the beans on this one got me. I do love a good bean, but I do recommend it. I recommend supporting a Hispanic author. I post mostly on TikTok, and I feel I feel like there's not a whole lot of talk about Mexican or Hispanic authors in general over there. There are a few people that do, you know, that's all they post about, but it's just, it's sad, you know. I feel like I wish that there was more talk about the Mexican community, but that's where we come in. We have to, you know, be that voice. Also, what I love about this author is that I believe this is her. I believe she's like 3rd generation American, and I am 3rd generation American as well. She writes a lot about how as time goes on, each generation loses just a little bit of that Mexican culture, and I can connect with that as well because I understand Spanish. I don't speak it, and I've always felt like, oh, you're less Mexican than everyone else that does speak it. But then also, like, to like the American people, you're American, but you're not American enough. And you know, it's kind of like that whole Selena thing where you're too Mexican for the Americans, but not American enough for the, whatever that quote was that they had Abraham say on Selena. That's what it reminded me of. Anyway, I gotta finish getting ready. I need to get to work, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Please go support this author. Go and read this book. I think it's on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not sure, but I mean, I bought the books because where's the book? I lost it. I know it's here. Well, I'll put a picture of the book right here if I can do that, but it's so beautiful, and so that's why I wanted it on my shelf, you know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Give me a thumbs up so that way it pushes my video out to the people that have never seen me before. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. What was that? Bye. Bye. I'll talk to you later. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Bye.